going on? How's everyone doing?
Shout out to Colin. Everybody else who's cool with Colin.
Chunky! I didn't say.
Eat your popcorn and your Coca-Cola and relax.
Anyway, tell Colin I'm ready.
What's going on? This is Colin. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a great day so far. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Oh, yep. I love it when my phone reminds me right at the start that I'm streaming. I just got a notification that said I'm live, but I needed to, it reminded me to turn my phone on silent. So thank you, YouTube, for notifying me that I'm live. If you guys didn't know already, I'm live. Anyways. Yeah, that just kind of destroyed any intro that I had planned, and I didn't have one planned, so I guess nothing was destroyed. How's everyone doing? You guys want to watch some court? Let's watch some court. I want to watch some court. I even butchered that. Today's just been a weird day. Anyone have those days where, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just a normal day. It's just everything you do and say just kind of falls flat. Yeah, I'm having that kind of day. But it hasn't been bad. Nothing bad happened today. Anyways. Let's watch some court. What do I have tonight? I've got 2 Judge DiSanto clips and a Judge Mercer clip. First one we're going to watch in Judge DiSanto's courtroom is a pro se who, I'm not going to lie, I was watching him kind of hoping he drops some soft sit lines. He doesn't. He's not a soft sit. Does not happen, but I was kind of hoping just the way that he started off talking, like, oh, he might pull some lines. He doesn't. He's just a pro se, and doesn't do a terrible job, doesn't do a great job, doesn't do a terrible job, but it's a pro se, so it's interesting. Then we have an attorney who showed up, 3 hours late for court. Judge DiSanto wasn't happy. That's the second case. Third case, it's Judge Mercer, where it's a kind of a dog at large case, but it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Judge isn't happy by the end of it, but, that's what we're going to watch tonight. Anyways. Before I hit that play button, you know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe. Do your jump kick back lips. Let's go.
On the record in the matter of the City of Wyandotte versus Lucas Suki, 2621.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
I don't know time.
We do. Oh, I do. We do not need to delay today any longer.
Good afternoon.
All right. Thank you for your patience today, sir. And so.
Hey, good to see you, buddy. Haven't seen you in a while, but it is very good to see you, and I'm glad you're here. Hopefully you're well.
You are wanting to represent yourself, is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, your name for the record, please.
Lucas Suki.
Okay, and so you do realize that you are here on a criminal matter and that you do have the right to have an attorney represent you in all critical stages of the criminal process. Do you understand that? Do you also understand that if you cannot afford one, you may have one appointed to represent you at no cost?
No, I don't understand that because every time I've had one, I've always had, even if I was not guilty or pled not responsible, and then I still got charged by the court to pay fines for lawyer fees and stuff. So I'm not retaining a lawyer. Even I understand what you said, but it doesn't end up playing that way for me in my financial situation.
Okay, well, pause. 2 things. 1, please remove your hands from your
Oh,
pockets.
sorry.
Number 2, I'm letting you know, if you cannot afford an attorney, you may have one appointed to represent you at no cost.
I'm fine.
I'm letting you know that I'm not going, have you heard me assess any attorney fees in any cases you had to sit through today?
No.
No, because we cannot. As they've been appointed under MIDC, then we cannot, because we do not do an indigency determination. Now,
I understand.
there may be a different program by which courts assess attorney fees, but under the MIDC, since we're not doing an indigency determination, we cannot charge. So.
I'll be fine with myself today, Your Honor.
Okay, great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So I just wanted you to know, sir, those are all of your rights. Okay, so do you understand why you're here today?
No,
I mean, do you want the court to read the charges or do you want to continue? Hold on. Only one can speak at a time. So let me finish my question and then you can respond.
No.
So you want the court to read the charges?
Yes, please.
The court has before it a complaint that alleges on January 6th of 2026 in the area of Eureka and Fort Street that you're operating a motor vehicle which was unregistered. This is a misdemeanor charge. The maximum penalty upon conviction is not more than 90 days jail and or a $500 fine. It alleges it was affixed with an improper plate. All right, so now you understand what your charge is, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so you've had an opportunity to speak to the prosecuting attorney, correct?
I did not personally, me personally,
You did not? Didn't you
Uh,
sign this?
the attorney that,
Yeah, Lisa, that's those are famous last words. That line is right up there next to, hey, y'all, watch this. Very famous last lines.
was appointed to me before I could submit my document to retain myself and not that attorney. He talked to them about a plea deal for just the ticket.
Okay, then we have to recall this. You have to speak to the attorney, the prosecuting attorney yourself. Okay, so it has to go back
Is
out.
there any way that we can possibly just dismiss this case? I did have registration.
Sure,
You know.
Sir. If you want this court to dismiss the case, then there either has to be a motion for the court to dismiss the case, or it's done by way of a trial that this court would determine that you would be not guilty or guilty.
Okay.
That's how that would happen. Otherwise, since it's a misdemeanor, then you and the prosecuting attorney, since you're acting as your own attorney, would have to have a conversation. Possible to do the same thing, I don't know, but since you're not represented by an attorney and you're representing yourself, you have to have a chance to speak to the prosecuting attorney.
I understand. I
Okay.
appreciate that.
All right, we'll recall this matter.
Thank you.
We're back on the record in the matter. This is the city of Wyandotte versus Gabriel Lucas, 2621.
Oh wow, that's the first time I've ever had that problem. That fade out was too fast. Usually I'm too slow with it. Man. Yeah, reset. That wasn't an editing mistake. That was just bad timing. So you don't have to reset any skills or any of the. I'm just gonna stop talking. I told you it's one of those days. Words are extra hard today.
Right, so sir, you have now signed the document, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and so going to have you please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give in this matter to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
All right, and as to the amended charge of expired plates, how do you plead? Responsible or not responsible?
Responsible.
And you've gone over your advice of rights with your attorney, or you've gone over your advice of rights, correct?
Yeah.
You signed that document?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions regarding the document?
Yeah.
You understand the possible penalty as a result of your plea, whether in this court, any other court or administrative agency?
Yeah.
Okay. And you understand by entering into a plea, you'll be waiving some of the rights that you've reviewed.
Yes.
Knowing all that, do you want to continue with your plea?
Yes.
Anybody promise you anything, threaten you, or coerce you in any way for you to enter into a plea today?
No.
Any immigration issues?
No.
All right, and the court will accept your plea as knowing and voluntary, dismiss the original charge per the plea agreement. That's $100. You have that to pay today.
They just told me it was 75, and I do have it
It's
paid,
100.
but I would also like. I'll stop saying this week.
It's $100, sir. Expired plate is $100. I don't know who told you $75.
Prosecutor.
Okay, it's $100. Is that accurate, Alicia?
Yes.
Yes, $100.
Why I was told something different before I pleaded.
Okay, sir. The prosecutor may not be familiar with all the costs of the citations or tickets
Okay.
that occur.
That's fine.
We have thousands of them.
May I address you? please?
Just one moment. So when I'm telling you that the fine is $100, right? That's what the cost of the ticket is. Okay. Yes,
I was just letting you know the discrepancy of what I was told versus
okay.
what you're telling me. I agree with whatever you say. You're administrative of this right? So, but I would like to ask you for grace on the payment of the ticket for the simple fact that this issue is going to require me to go get a FOIA request, which is also a minimum $25 payment to just get them to start the paperwork. And then on top of that, I was incurred outrageous fees last time I got a FOIA request, which was over $200. And I'm assume, or just go off prior basis, that they're gonna charge me around that amount again. and I need to get the FOIA request to end up bringing this back.
Yeah, FOIA requests aren't free. I don't know how many times I've said that. It's why I've stopped requesting them. Not only are they not free, they're a hassle. If you don't absolutely know what you're doing, don't. Yeah, I mean, no, don't do it. And every jurisdiction's different for how they handle them. You know, some of them will, you know, hey, $50, we'll get you this footage. Oh, great. And then it takes them 6 months to send it to you. And then some will be like, oh, it's going to cost about $1,500 for us to do this for you. You know, at least, you know, they'll tell you up front usually like what their pay structure is, so you know what you're getting into. But yeah, they're not free, man.
To court when I have substantial evidence after this fact. So if you don't waive that fee, I understand, but I'm just asking you for the grace of my life, liberty, and property and my rights to waive the fee of this ticket.
Okay, sir, I'm not following what you're saying regarding FOIA or otherwise. It's alleging that that you have the wrong plate on the vehicle. That's what you're charged with. And now what you've pled to, so what you're charged with, sir, was up to it was a misdemeanor, $500 fine, and up to 90 days jail. So what you've pled to is a $100 civil infraction. And so you indicated that you wanted this court to give you grace because you would have to file a FOIA request?
Yes, for the unreasonable search and seizure of my vehicle, and then also for 3 other of my Bill of Rights and constitutional rights being violated for almost a year and a half.
Okay, hold on.
For this specific one, 3 of my constitutional rights were violated. So I'm pleading today.
Hold on, sir. Hold on. You're alleging that your constitutional rights were violated on this charge.
Yes.
Okay.
And I
And so,
get the FOIA request.
hold on, sir. So this charge was, you were charged with unregistered vehicle, moped, no trailer plate because they had the wrong plate. You have now pled responsible to expired plates. Okay, so you're admitted responsibility that you had a different plate. Your plate was expired as it relates to this vehicle. And so I'm not clear, sir, how your allegations of rights being violated, which that's a separate issue and that's something you can handle within the police department or what have you, how that correlates to the $100 fine this court gets assessed.
Because my constitutional rights were violated during this. So I'm asking for the grace because now I have to go spend more of my life, which I turn into financial property, on the court's documents and the video, the dash cam, and all this other documentation because of this incident. I understand. I'll pay that $100 if you don't want to waive it. I understand, but I'm asking for grace because I'm also going to go pay the court probably another $300 after paying the Grout family $300 to get my vehicle
Hold on,
out.
just a moment.
I'm sorry.
No, just a moment. The only money that's paid is
All right, so we just heard why I was kind of thinking that it was going to be a soft sit there for a second. When he started talking about his constitutional rights being violated, it's like, oh, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. No, he didn't do it. He didn't. Hey, no. Good to see you, my friend. Hopefully you're well. Good to see you. German Joe, thank you so much for the super chat. Conversion of life in grace to flat currency fee. Thank you, German Joe. I appreciate it. Thank you.
court is the fines and costs that are assessed. FOIA requests or otherwise, any evidentiary request, discovery, what have you, that's to the police department. Maybe in the same building, but those costs are not paid to the court. I just want you to be clear on that.
Okay.
Okay, so the court's not going to waive any fines or costs. The court's going to order a $100 fine. Now, the court's not assessing any other costs. So do you have that to pay today?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, just stop at the window. Somebody will be with you shortly.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
Good luck to you, sir. Have a good day.
Okay, that was.
All right, that was the first one. Yep, so close. He just needs to say one more line. And then I could have put stop sit in the title and, clickbait the hell out of it. But no, can't do it. Can't do it if he's not a stop sit. All right. We're staying in Judge DiSanto's courtroom. The next one is an attorney that showed up 3 hours late. Judge DiSanto's not happy. I've got the first part of it where she actually calls his office, and then the second part when he shows up. I know OSG covered this earlier, and I found out late that I was editing this video when he put it out, and he sent me a message saying, you should watch the pro se after the video I just put out. I'm like, wait, what video just put out? So we talked about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to throw this in my live tonight. So I don't like competing with him since, we're friends. So I don't like competing with his views if I can help it. So I just threw it in my live instead of putting it out earlier. But this one's really good. But he also did tell me that pro se case was good. So thank you, OSG, for that heads up. Anyways, let's go.
We're on the record. Where's here? Okay. Did we hear? Oh, let's go off the record. Did we hear anything?
Yeah. And here's the thing: every single person on YouTube uses clickbait. You have to put things in the title and in the thumbnail to cause people to click, which is the definition of. Well, it's one of the definitions of clickbait, but you can't be misleading. So you try to get as close to the line as possible without going over. You just don't want to lie. You don't want to make things up. And I do try my best. I know I do sometimes get really close to that line, but I do try my best not to go over it because I don't want to be misleading. I don't want to lose viewers because they're, I don't want to do what the AI channels do, right? Just completely make something up to get people to click on it. Try to avoid that.
Feedback from
I sent Gordon to Morris.
Okay.
Nothing back yet.
Okay. Miss Henderson, there's Miss Henderson. Okay. I know that you've been here for a little bit. We're just trying to figure out if there's been communication from Mr. Bailey or his attorney, because neither one of them are here right now.
I've seen them out front.
Mr. Bailey or his attorney? Oh, he has not checked in.
Yeah, Bailey's here, but the attorney isn't.
Oh, okay, so he's here. Then, okay, then we need, actually, do you have the attorney's phone number, Allie?
Yeah.
Oh, I think she actually reads the number here. I don't hear anything.
Oh,
Oh,
she's calling the attorney? No, I just want to know if she had heard anything from the attorney.
Somebody call him.
Nope, I'm going to call. What's the number?
313.
Oh, yep, I knew it. It's like I feel like I remember hearing the number, and I know I didn't edit it out, so I had to be quick with the mute button.
Oh, can you mute my phone, please? If you want to dial it, that's fine. 313.
Yeah. I believe it's just his office number, so it wouldn't really be that big of a deal. You can just Google it, but no, not putting it on the video.
9975. What'd you say?
It's Attorney Anderson.
Right, is the first name Emmett?
No, it's James.
James. Okay. Oh, no, this is Judge DiSanto. I'm wondering where Mr. Anderson is. This was scheduled for 9:15. It is 10:37. Okay, well, I have had a victim sitting in this courtroom since before 9:15 a.m. and it's not acceptable for Mr. Anderson to not be here. An hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 27 minutes after the time that he was scheduled to represent his client in sentencing. So Mr. Anderson needs to be here ASAP or he will be held in contempt. Thank you. All right, bye. The state of Michigan versus Braxton.
All right. So now we're a little bit over an hour later. Yeah, I failed miserably at the fade outs. Yeah, I did. Karen, thank you so much for the super chat. Colin, I tried Skyline flavored graters. Yum. I cannot imagine that would be good. I can't. I love Skyline. I love graters. I have no idea what that would taste like. I would try it, but in my head, I'm like, no, that's not going to be good. But now that I know it exists, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to be down in Cincinnati in 2 weeks. So I'm gonna, Heather's coming in for my birthday, so we're gonna spend some time in Cincinnati. So I'm gonna look for it because now I have to try it because I live about an hour north of Cincinnati. I think I've told you guys this. I've moved out of Cincinnati just 3 or 4 years ago, but Grader's is a huge Cincinnati ice cream company, and Skyline is Cincinnati chili. So yeah. It's kind of blowing my mind that they had a collab like that, but yeah, I'm interested. Hold on, we got another one. Cheshire Cat's here. Never fear, trouble is here. What up, Cheshire? Good to see you. Thank you for the super chat, Jermager. If we wanted editing or words, we'd go elsewhere. This is true. You don't come here for vocabulary, grammar, or editing. You come here for court and the chat. I'm here too, but yeah, I don't think that I'm the main reason you guys come here. The chat's the best part. All right, let's go.
Bailey, 6-4. Is Ms. Henderson still present?
Unfortunately, with Mr. Bailey's attorney being late, she had other engagements she had to go to. But unfortunately, she will not be here to see the justice proceed.
All right, I was unaware that she had to leave.
Yeah, she's been here approximately 3 hours.
All right, yes, I'm very much aware of that, sir. Thank you. All right, counsel, your appearance, please.
James Anderson, appearing on behalf of Braxton Bailey, Your Honor.
Mr. Bailey, your name for the record, please.
Braxton Bailey.
Okay, and so counsel, I addressed this slightly when you zoomed in, but this matter was scheduled for 9:15. We had a victim that's been here since 9 o'clock on a very violent case. And there was zero communication with this court. At some point, you realized that there was a time conflict, correct?
At some point I did, Your Honor. I had a matter scheduled in the circuit court for 8:30. I decided to go to that matter first, hoping that I would have enough time to not be so late in this court. Unfortunately, it did not work out the way that I planned. I understand, and I apologize for not contacting the court to let the court know that I was being detained in Hell Bay.
Okay, well, counsel, clearly, if you had an 8:30 circuit court matter and a 9:15 matter here, you were never going to be here at 9:15. There was not even a possibility of that even happening. And you did not even contact into the court. Zero regard for the court time, zero regard for the victim time, and zero regard for your client's time. And even after you were here, after 9:15, you didn't even contact the court until this court contacted your office multiple times. Only then did you contact into the court.
Again, Your Honor, some of the matters I was on the record, most likely. I did hear my phone buzz while I was on the record in court. As soon as I was able to get out of that, I contacted my office. And then I immediately, as soon as I was able to contact the court, and if I zoomed in to see if I still needed to show up in person. You know, oftentimes in the circuit court, I've appeared on matters at 8:30, and they've been finished in enough time for me to arrive here in court on time. Unfortunately, it did not work out this morning. Again, I apologize for not letting the court know.
All right, well.
All right. I understand his reasoning when he said that, or what he meant by circuit court's more important, but you don't say that out loud, man. Yeah. Hey, guy that's sitting next to me, I had something more important. I mean, yeah, circuit court, that's felonies. He could have been dealing with something where a guy's looking at life. Yeah, that's a little bit more important than a misdemeanor. Still, don't say that out loud. Don't tell the judge that. Don't tell the client that. At least not on the record. Come on, guy.
And the court can understand that, counsel, and the court can understand the demands on an attorney's schedule in multiple courts, but the court cannot understand the lack of communication. So the court's going to order a $100 sanction, counsel.
I don't know, since the court is well aware that the circuit court takes precedence over matters in the district court. Again, I apologize for not contacting the court, but I don't know that a fine in that regard would be appropriate.
Counsel, you didn't communicate with this court at all. This court had to contact your office multiple times, and that was over an hour and 20 minutes after you were scheduled to be here. Your client was sitting here without communication. Your client also has been sitting here now for almost 3 hours. The victim was here without any communication. There is zero communication. If you would have contacted the court, counsel, via email, even yesterday or Monday, the court could have made some arrangements and notified the victim and your client. We could have adjusted the time that you needed to be here, but that didn't occur. And there should have been communication with the court, and there was none. So the court finds the sanctions appropriate. And now we don't have the victim here to speak on her behalf, as she had prior engagements that she had to attend to, it appears.
Java Puppy, this is the comment of the night. It's going to be tough to beat this one. I like it. Thank you, Java.
Sir, your name for the record, please.
Shane Boyd, I'm her stepfather.
All right, can you spell your first and last names, please?
SHALLOYD.
Okay. And was Ms. Henderson intending on addressing the court today?
Unfortunately, now she's not able to.
That wasn't my question, sir.
I-
When she was here, was she intending on addressing the court, or was she here simply for observation?
I believe just for observation.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Court Officer Midlars.
She just spoke to you, practically she did not want to address the court.
Was that your phone on?
There's an alert.
Please make sure it's on silent. I'm sorry, what was that, Court Officer Midlars?
The victim assured me that she did not want to address the court, but she wanted to see justice prevail.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so counsel, I asked.
Oh, man. And he... you know, it'd be the only thing he could do that would make this appearance even worse is if he didn't have a jacket on. Judge DiSanto is one of those types of judges who, if you're an attorney, you're in a tie and a coat. She doesn't care. You wear a tie and a coat. If he would have showed up without his coat, like, oh man, it would. Yeah, he would have hit the trifecta for pissing Judge DiSanto off.
Ask those questions to determine whether or not we can proceed, or if we needed to set it for another date, but we will proceed since Ms. Henderson was not intending on addressing the court. She was here for observing the sentencing. And so, counsel, today is the date scheduled for sentencing on your client's plea to domestic violence aggravated. The felony of assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder was dismissed by way of resolution between counsel. And counsel, do you have an opportunity to review the report and recommendation with your client?
Yes, Your Honor, I have reviewed the report and recommendation with my client. The only correction to be made is on the criminal history. It says the defendant has 5 warrants. We don't.
Oh man, do you guys remember that skit, Call Her Honey? Oh, that's good. Yeah, and Call Her Honey. You guys remember the? We kind of went viral for all the Brooklyn Nine-Nine fans, where they did the Backstreet Boys song, and Peralta started singing with them, and then at the very end, it's like, oh yeah. No, it was like, no, I don't know. Number 6 killed my brother. It's like, oh, I forgot about that part. I forgot that this was an actual case. I was so invested in the attorney getting in trouble. Oh yeah, we're here for court. No, I had that moment. So, haha, yay.
Exactly understand what those warrants are. I do understand he does have some traffic matters he presented to me this morning receipts from, payments in the court on those traffic fines.
Okay, and,
That's what those were.
all right, sir, where did you make those payments? And I'm sorry, when did you make those payments?
Alex, I absolutely love that show. I catch myself saying the title of my sex tape, or the title of your sex tape. I just got it backwards. I catch myself saying that all the time, and I have to stop. That's such a good show. All right, back to the case now.
Give you the right date. These payments was made on February 26th.
Okay, so let me just go through because I'm showing you as of March 6th, this is what is showing. Warrant out of 18th District Court in Westland on October 2nd of 2024. That is for failing to appear for a show cause hearing via Zoom on a plate violation that apparently wasn't paid. The other warrant is May 7th of 2025 out of the 28th District Court. You failed to appear for an arraignment on a driving while license suspended. September 15th of 2025 out of 19th District Court. There was a bench warrant issued for failed to display a license, and you did not appear for the bench warrant hearing. Then January 26th of 26 in the 22nd District Court in Inkster indicates that you failed to appear for a show cause hearing that you had for your speeding ticket that apparently you didn't pay. Also, a red light ticket out of the same court, the same week. We had a show cause hearing and didn't show up. Are those any of the places that you paid tickets at, sir?
No.
Okay, so those are the 5 warrants.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I haven't had any mail. I haven't seen any mail. Yes, you
So,
said.
sir, I did take that into consideration with your January 26th one, right? The date of the warrant for January 26th. So I don't know what date that show cause hearing would have been scheduled. It doesn't indicate that. It just shows the date of the warrant was January 26th. The court did note that when I was reviewing the sentencing, that you have not been back at the home since you were arrested on December 25th of 25. So I don't know when that one was scheduled, right? But now you're on notice that you have the warrant out of Inkster, and because you didn't show up for a show cause on a ticket that appears from 2021 that you owed fines and costs on. The other matter, sir, the court would presume that it was sent to the address you've been residing at. Those are all prior to December 25th. All right. As to sentencing counsel.
Here, I asked the board follow the recommendation, since recommendation as well, rather than.
Sir, I need to tell you that when I was reviewing this matter, the actions that you exhibited that day made my stomach turn. You punched Miss Henderson, with whom you have 4 children, correct?
No,
No, 1 child?
3.
You have 3 children.
Yes.
1 child is not yours?
Yes.
Okay, is that the 5-year-old?
No, I believe he's 6.
Oh, okay. So you have 3 children with Miss Henderson, one of which is 8 months old. And I believe she had just gotten back from the hospital with the 8-month-old, correct?
Correct.
Right. And it's Christmas Day.
Correct.
Right. And so the allegations are that you choked her, threw her out of the chair, you punched her in the face so hard that her tooth was knocked out. And then you hit her in the head with a trash can. And in fact, one of the statements that I reviewed was that you were holding her with your hand by her neck. And then you punched her in the face.
That's not what happened.
Sir, the fact that you put your hands on her at all is a problem.
Now you're understanding where my comment was. Oh, I forgot about that part. Yeah, I forgot how serious this case was. I was all joking. We were all joking about the attorney getting in trouble. I was like, oh yeah, and then we have court, serious charges.
The children were present.
That's not true either.
The 8-month-old wasn't present?
No,
None of the children were present.
no,
Where were the children?
with her mom,
Yeah,
opening presents that morning.
if I may state that the original charge was assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder. If the prosecution was certain of those charges and that they could make out a factual basis, I don't suspect that he would have been offered reduced charge of aggravated domestic violence.
That wasn't.
Oh, that's a hollow statement, attorney, and you know that. Good attorneys can get big charges lowered a little bit almost every single time if they get their client to accept them. You know, the prosecutor doesn't want to go to trial any more than the defense doesn't want to go to trial. That was a hollow statement. Come on, guy.
Reduced charge, counsel. That was count 2. You pled to count 2. They dismissed count 1 at the exam.
Well, Kevin, I'm sorry, Your Honor, still.
And counsel, what does that have? What relevance is that as to what this court is stating as to the allegations?
At this point, it's not relevant.
Okay. Of the 4 children, sir, are those boys or girls?
We have 2 boys and 1 girl.
Okay. And so what if somebody assaulted your daughter like that?
I'd rather not answer.
How'd you get here to court today, sir?
Uber.
How do you get back and forth to work?
I have my friend, one of my coworkers, pick me up, drop me off.
And what do you do with this program that you're involved in, sir?
Which program? The Bliss Men program is a nonprofit from my church where we take 100 to 50 to 100 young men, and we basically just give them life skills, chivalry. We show them how to change a tire. We build a wall. We show them how to tie ties. And me being a member of the church since 2010, I'm like a big brother to a lot of these younger men.
Okay, you said chivalry.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but what does that mean to you, sir?
Chivalry isn't dead. It's not present.
What's that?
Said chivalry isn't dead. It's just not present.
She didn't ask you what the motto of your group is, and it's admirable work. If you know, I hope you do well in that. That is awesome that you're doing that, but that's not what she asked you. Not at all. And yeah, you're running this group, but you're putting your hands on women. Come on, guy.
Okay, so what does chivalry mean to you, sir?
It means a lot. Manners, how to treat a young lady, opening doors, pulling out chairs.
Right, not knocking them off of chairs, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And not hitting them with garbage cans. I'm sorry, that was a bad comment. that's been in my head since they said it. He hit her with a garbage can? Come on.
Right. So how are you helping young men learn how to do that when you are here on your aggravated domestic violence charge conviction?
I know the skills, you know,
You just have difficulty implementing those skills for yourself?
at sometimes, yes.
All right, the court's going to note that after hearing from counsel, hearing from Mr. Bailey, reviewing the report, the recommendation, reviewing the police report, the court does find there's reasonable grounds to depart from MCL 769.5. The court also finds the following sentence to be in the best interest of justice, to be reasonable and proportionate to the seriousness of the matter, taking into account the circumstances surrounding Mr. Bailey and the legislative guidelines. Sir, if you're in a test right now, what's in your system?
Nothing at all.
The court's going to order 24 months probation. You're not eligible for early discharge. You're not to violate any criminal law of any unit of government. You're not to leave the state without the consent of this court. You are to report truthfully to your probation officer as often as your probation officer may require, in person, writing, or virtually. You are to notify your probation officer immediately of any change in address or employment status. Do not choose any alcohol or drugs unless prescribed and be subjected to random testing. The rehabilitative goal for that condition is so the court can monitor your progress in maintaining abstinence and sobriety. You are going to have to enroll and participate in outpatient substance use counseling. The rehabilitative goal for that condition serves so you can have assistance in providing coping mechanisms so you can maintain sobriety and prevent relapse, hopefully preventing this matter from happening again. You are not to have any contact with Ms. Henderson. That's phone contact, text message, email, social media, third party, anything of the like. You are not to return to their home on Ray Street. Obviously, the rehabilitative condition for those conditions is so there can be safety for the victim and the minor children. You're not to possess or have access to any firearms or weapons. Do you have any of those, sir?
No.
You are to participate in a 26-week domestic violence counseling program. The rehabilitative goal for that condition, so you can further increase your understanding for responsibility of your own actions to educate you about how to change or modify your behavior when you're in a situation that upsets you, sir. There's been $0 requested for restitution. You're not to drive without a valid license. The court's going to order mandatory jail for any violation. The court's going to also order 45 days jail. I will suspend 40 of those days. You're going to serve 5. Any questions regarding those conditions that this court's put forth?
Your Honor, did you just state that Defendant is to serve 5 days in jail?
Yes. I will give him a report date. He doesn't have to go right now.
And also, I did not compute credit for time, if any, that he served thus far.
Well, I'm not sure. Let's see, he posted his bond. I show a bond on January 14th. I don't know when that bond, I don't know if that bond was nope, I'm showing January 8th. It was posted.
You know, the bond was raised to, I believe, 20,000, 10% at some point.
Well, it was. So your client at the arraignment, the out county magistrate at the 36th District Court found it appropriate for a $5,000 personal bond on December 27th. Then this court amended bond on its own motion on January 8th, which your client posted on January 8th. And so your client would have credit for, it looks like, 3 days jail, 25th, 26th, and 27th of December. I would give your client credit for 3 days.
Thank you.
I'll have your report Friday, March 13th, sir. Any questions?
Yes, can I have some type of paperwork to give to my job as far as this weekend?
Yes, you can get that from probation.
Also, Your Honor, may the television vote at the, well, now or at the report time?
Court will indicate the tether can be removed at the date that your client reports to jail.
Thank you.
Sir, just so that you're very clear, you are facing up to 1 year in jail. If there's a violation of probation, sir, or if this court revokes probation because you cannot follow the terms and conditions of probation, you're looking at up to 1 year incarceration. I certainly hope, sir, you're able to get it together so that you are not behaving in this manner again. This is the mother of your children, 3 of your children, and this is how you treated her. Reprehensible behavior. The court's going to order as far as the fines and costs go. The court's going to order a $500 fine, $100 screening assessment fee, $1,200 supervision oversight fee, that's $50 a month at 24 months, $300 for cost of prosecution, crime victim assessment fee of $75, justice system assessment fee of $50. That's a total of $2,225. You did post your bond, so that can be applied, sir. There was a 10% retention per statute, which would leave a balance of $1,800. That can be applied, which leaves you a balance of $425. So you can coordinate any payment plan with probation. All right?
Yeah, look.
Any other questions, sir?
Nothing, thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good day. And counsel, you can stop at the window as well and pay your sanction. Let's go off the.
I love the last line. And counsel, yeah. Remember that sanction I just gave you? $100. That's probably the lowest sanction she possibly could have given him. Just like, hey man, do better. I'm not. I mean, what else? What else was he expecting? The victim left. The victim waited there for 3 hours and then had to leave. And the client was sitting there for 3 hours. Yeah, like that's not good, man. And you came up and just thought that sorry was going to be okay. No, you can't make people wait that long, especially with Judge DiSanto. I know I've been critical of her in the past, but what she isn't is a weak judge. She's definitely not a weak judge. All right. I know I've got some super chats and gifted memberships to catch up on. Phil, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate it. Thank you, Phil. Welcome to the 5 new members. Phil, you are awesome. Thank you so much. Uncle Dan, who is this guy that keeps talking over the court video? I don't know. I've been looking for him for months, for years, actually. Almost 3 years. We are about 3 months, a little bit over 3 months away from my 3-year anniversary. Yay! Speaking of which, we're almost, it's a little bit more than 400 subscribers from 25,000. Yep. 430 subs from 25,000. So if you guys are hanging out and you're not subscribed, please hit that sub button. I would love to hit it by my birthday, which is on the 27th. So we got a little bit to go. I think we can do it. But that'd be awesome to have birthday celebration, a 25K celebration, and Heather is here all at the same time. That'd be a party. I might actually drink on stream if that happens. Haven't done that since Booze and Body Cam. Yeah. It's always fun. I just, I stopped drinking for like 3 months after that, though. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the next case. Let's see. We're moving down to Florida. We're going to Florida. Judge Mercer. We've got a very interesting case where the defendant. You know what? I don't really have a lot of explanation for how this goes down because Judge Mercer gets extremely technical with this one when it comes to the penalties. And you're about to see it. You're about to hear it. I have to trust what Judge Mercer is saying is correct, but I don't understand why it's this way. So when I say he gets very technical, it's not like he's stating laws, and it's not like that. But he makes some comments that I didn't think were possible. Yeah. And then at the end of it, he's just mad at the prosecutor. So there we go. Cheshire, thank you. Nah, she has to do your nails. Yeah. That was well, we talked about that. I don't know if she ever agreed to it. I definitely didn't agree to it. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll make that like a milestone for that night. For the night that, when that happens. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that right now. But Cheshire, thank you so much. I appreciate it, super chat. All right, Florida with a Florida man and a Florida judge. Let's go.
And ruling on a bench trial, and that is State of Florida versus Harvey Williams, case number 25-489
So Heather does that for a living. She's an esthetician and she does nail services as well. So she has cut my nails before. She'll cut and file them if I ask her to, just because she hates the way that I cut my nails. I cut them like a man does. When I finish cutting my nails, I generally have like little points on the tips, and she hates that. We don't have to go into details about why she hates that, but so she has cut them for me before. But yeah, that's been about. Oh, she's done my cuticles before too. But yeah, never more than that. I don't know. I think that's like 90% of a pedicure or manicure right there, though.
Mr. Williams went to bench trial last month. Mr. McDaniel, Mr. Mitchell, y'all try to keep me straight, please. I know that there's a motion for directed verdict, and one of the issues was more complicated in my view, so I don't think I ruled on that. There's a second amended motion to dismiss I don't think I ruled on. You did written closing arguments. I read all of your pleadings. I read your amended motion. I read your closing argument state. I read your response to the second amended motion to dismiss. I read your closing argument. So those are the things I'm aware of I need to address. So let me see if anybody has anything else they want to put on the record on any of those issues or any other issues. And we'll start with the state. Mr. Mitchell.
No, Your Honor, we'll just defer to.
All right, first and foremost, written closing statements. I didn't know that was a thing. I really didn't. And Bill, thank you for the super chat. So Colin can afford a drink again fee. I don't like drinking on stream. And I'll tell you why. I don't know if you guys remember one of the interviews I did with Judge Fleischer. A lot of people were in the comments accusing me of being drunk. And with that accusation, I was like, you know what? I think I had a beer. I was drinking a beer while I was doing it. Like, you know what? I'm not even gonna no. Like, definitely wasn't drunk off of one beer, but I don't want these accusations to ever come back again. So I was like, I'm never drinking on stream again. But then I did it once with Skeptic for a fundraiser, and then once with Booze and Body Cam. But like that was, we were drinking ahead. Like that was planned drinking. So me being drunk on stream wouldn't have been that bad. But that's been the only 2 times since then. I just don't like it. I don't like the accusations because I don't need that in my life. I don't need to defend myself against something that I'm not doing. There we go.
What has been filed.
Mr. McDaniel.
Same thing, we just defer, but, just to renew those same motions for appeals court if needed, the motions to dismiss and whatnot, not motion that is unconstitutional.
Thank you. So, Mr. Williams, what I'm going to do is I don't think I ruled on the motion for directed verdict. After reading the cases, looking at the case law, I'm going to deny your motion for directed verdict. I think the state presented prima facie evidence of a community being affected. And I think Mr. McDaniel's arguments are very well written. And he's put a lot of time in your case, but I'm not convinced that there's a requirement that just because the county or city has an option of going through a civil process that they can't pursue criminal charges if they wish. I don't see that in the law. So I'm denying the motion for a directed verdict. The other thing I've got to do is rule on the motion to dismiss. I had already denied most of it, but there was one part of it I hadn't addressed because it was, again, fairly complicated.
All right. I know I keep interrupting the video, and I'm sorry for that. I do want to make one more comment. When I would interview judges, I'd be extremely nervous. So I generally would have a beer. But I'm an IPA drinker, so they're, generally higher in alcohol when you drink an IPA. So yeah, that's my defense. It was just one, and that is true. It doesn't matter because I'm sitting at home interviewing a judge. It doesn't matter if I had 12, but no, I just don't like being accused of being drunk. It's just, I don't know. It's not a good look, even for accusations. It's not a good look.
After reading the cases and for the same rationale, I'm going to deny the motion to dismiss. That leads us to the verdict itself. After hearing the bench trial, the state, and looking at the closing arguments and considering the evidence, I want to find the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt, Mr. Williams, that you committed the offense of maintaining a public nuisance in violation of Florida Statute 823.01. Having found you guilty of that offense, because it was a bench trial, all I can sentence you to is a fine or probation. And based upon the circumstances, I'm going to sentence you to probation in the amount of 6 months. So you're going to be on probation for 6 months. I'm going to impose a standard fine for this charge, which is $370. And I know because of the bench trial, there's limited enforceability, and I wasn't aware of that at the time. But Mr. McDaniel tried to make me aware, but frankly, I didn't hear it. So what is the state's request regarding the animals during this period of probation?
We would request that since he has been found guilty of the crime of public nuisance, given the circumstances of what brought in this or what was brought about this charge, we would request that the dogs be forfeited.
So here's the problem with that, Mr. Mitchell. Normally I would have no problem, but the enforceability of that, I think that's a reasonable request. But you were aware that if he violates probation, I can do nothing to him essentially.
Yes.
Because y'all agreed to a bench trial.
Yes.
So if I order that and he doesn't do it, we haven't accomplished anything. And you knew that when y'all agreed to a bench trial. So I'm surprised you're asking for that, because if that's what you're wanting and you really wanted to enforce it, we wouldn't have been in a bench trial.
I'll use this as another method of enforcement. There is a current review case involving Harvey Williams right now, in which culpable negligence is the charge that is actually filed. Or that is actually charged as a condition of probation and forfeiting the dogs. If he accomplishes that condition, I will not file on that culpable negligence charge. I will decline to file on that misdemeanor review case. And I guess I'll go ahead and give what other condition I want in there, which is there's restitution to be paid back to the city for holding the dogs. I can get an exact amount from Lieutenant Riley, but we just request restitution be reserved for 60 days.
Why do we not have a restitution amount now after a bench trial, knowing the sentencing and the verdict was set? Why don't we know that?
Been focusing on these motions. That's on. I'll take blame for that one, but I will get it to you as soon as possible.
So I never knew. I knew from just the video that the dogs were probably going to be taken. How long were the dogs held, and how many dogs? And were they ever released, or are they still in possession of the city? I know none of those things.
I think they took the 5 that were at large on that day, and actually, I don't know. I know they took some dogs, and they held them for about a week, something like that, because the cost kept accruing for holding them.
And that would have been in September.
Yes.
And from September, the state doesn't know in March how much restitution you're asking for.
I need an exact amount.
Okay. Mr. McDaniel, I'm going to save you some time. I'm not ordering restitution. There's no reason the state shouldn't have a number today. So that's not going to happen. I'm also not going to order dogs being forfeited. If that's what the state wanted, the state shouldn't agree to a bench trial. I'd have some teeth. What I am considering is some kind of reasonable fencing requirement, because on the video, some of the dogs were fenced and some were not.
Yes, Your
And frankly, I'm not sure.
So that's my question right there. Why can't the judge order anything right now? Why is his hands tied behind the back because he had a bench trial? I don't understand that. Is that a Florida thing? I don't know. I need someone smarter than me to answer that question. I don't get it.
Sure which dogs allegedly were escaped and which ones didn't, but I'm glad to hear from you on what anything you wanted to say.
I think that's a very reasonable option. Is some kind of, requirement that he, create some fencing and barrier that the dogs do not get out of. But I'm not sure how they're getting out of. I know he said in the past that he thinks some of his neighbors maybe opened up the gates or someone comes to the house and opens up the gates. And I don't know if it's his neighbors open the gates, but, maybe to put a lock on his gate so that can't be just opened up by a mailman or someone else that comes along. That might be an option for him, but just to keep the dogs within the containment. And I think that that's something that he can easily comply with. And I know there's fencing around the property, but it is a 4-foot fence. And, I don't know if the dogs could be jumping over the fence. I'm really not quite sure.
Am I correct from the video?
Or can I answer that?
Just a second, I'll give you a chance. But just a second, Mr. Williams, I'm gonna give you a chance to say anything you want. But from the video, there's part of the property that's not fenced. Am I misreading that video? There's one part of the front yard where it looks like the dogs are attached to a pole, but there's no fence in that area.
I just wanted to pause real quick. Leah, get better soon. I wish you the quickest of quick recoveries. Yeah, I'm not good at these things. I'm not good with words when it comes to people's health and all those things. I say that all the time, but I wanted to make sure to mention it. So recover quickly, please.
Is that right? Okay,
correct.
In the front.
Okay, all right.
The dogs in the back are in a pen now with electric fence. Okay, prior to that, it was not. The neighbors pushed trees up into the fence and tore it up. I was putting the fence up, he take them out and tore it down, claiming it was his property. He threatened to shoot my dog that was tied to a tree. And they pushed a tree in the back, one in the front, cut holes in the fence. I was gone, I had a chain on the front gate. I come back, the chain is on the dog's out, here come the police.
Yeah, and how many times have they been called? How many times, Mr. Williams, how many times have the police been called out there or animal control been called out there before that?
Right.
How many?
And all the time.
How many times? I'm asking a question, Mr. Williams. I'm not going to try to talk over you. I've asked you a question. If you don't want to answer the question or you don't know the answer, that's okay. But my point is, this is a problem going on based on the witnesses for a couple of years. And I'm tired of it. I'm not going to stop. The next time it happens, then law enforcement has the authority to arrest you for a misdemeanor occurring in their presence. So what that means is if they catch those dogs out and they're out, then they have the authority under Florida law to arrest you for public nuisance, which is probably what's going to happen. So as part of your probation, I'm going to require that any dog that you have be maintained and kept in an appropriate fenced unit. Okay, so you can get rid of them if you want to, and the problem is solved. But if the state wanted you to get rid of them and that was their goal the whole time, we should have gone to a bench trial, and that way I'd have some teeth to this probation. Right now, I don't know a whole lot I can do when you violate. There may be some things, there may not be, but the next time, if it happens again, the next time it's probably going to be an arrest, and it's probably going to be a jury trial, and you're probably be looking at possible jail time. So I don't want that to happen. I just want you to fix the problem. I've told you that before. So you've got 6 months probation, you've got standard court costs and fines. I'm not ordering you to pay for that because the state should know that now. They've had months to get a number. They show up today without a number. I'm not ordering any restitution because it's just, that's not the way we do things. We've had months to get it done. But I am ordering you to have every animal that you have appropriately maintained on your property in compliance with any leash law there is. That means if you're out walking them and you have them on a leash and that's legal, then fine. If they get out, it's on you. If it were me, I'd get rid of dogs to avoid this problem. I don't know if you're going to do that or not, but those in the front yard.
They supplement my income and protect my house.
How do dogs supplement your income? They detract from your income. They don't add to your income unless you're fighting them and making money off of them.
Puppies and sell them.
You sell German Shepherds. Okay. So what that means is those in the front yard that didn't have a fence, you have 10 days to have any dog that you have. It's got to be fenced. 10 days, any dog you have, it's got to be fenced. You can't hear me while you're talking. You have 10 days, any dog that you have has to be enclosed in a fence. Do you have any questions?
Yes, sir. How do I protect my property? People that walked up on my front property.
Fence the whole, fence the front yard.
What do I do?
Fence the front yard. Just fence the front yard and you're done. It's not a big yard. Fence the front yard. The problem's solved. 10 days. We're going to get you to see Mr. Goodson with the probation office.
10 days to fence the front yard?
You've had months to fix the problem. You have 10 days to get the yard fixed.
So that was a problem.
You've known for years this is a problem. It's a problem for everybody else in the community but you.
I'm not trying to talk over you, but it was protection for me. My life. The dude across the street that murdered somebody. The one next door to me spent 20 years in jail for assault. He's back. And back me, you just gave a guy 15 years. Okay. These same people causes that make it easy to face have felony murder charges all around me. And until I got those dogs, I've been assaulted, my house been broken into, everything. When I got those dogs, that stopped. So
move. Sorry. Put up a fence. Put up a fence, keep your dogs, keep your peace of mind, or move. I mean, it sounds like you live in a really bad place. Everyone around you has done time. Yeah. Cheap property isn't worth your peace of mind. It isn't. Sorry, man. I'm not going to agree with you. I'm going to agree with the judge on this one.
And it provided me an income.
Well, if you don't have that fence over within 10 days, you have dogs that are not in the fence, then that's going to be violation of probation, and we'll see what we can do about that. On the other hand, if they catch the dogs running at large, they have the authority to arrest you for a misdemeanor occurring in your presence. Mr. McDaniel's made many objections on the validity of this statute, and right now I'm denying those objections. He has a right to appeal that. You've got the right to appeal my findings. You've got 30 days to do so. But in the meantime, if I was your neighbor, I'd be doing the same thing they're doing. I'd be calling every time they got out because you aren't taking care of your dogs. You couldn't care less about your neighbors. That's what I'm finding. You don't care about their peace and their sanctity and their quietness. If you cared, you would have fixed the problem a long time ago. So we're going to do something to get it fixed. And I've told you what's going to happen if you don't fix the problem. Do you have any questions?
Okay. I guess. Their dog come over and attack my dog in my yard while they tied up.
Well, that fence will stop that. They can't get in your fence if you fix it. See, they can't get in there. So that's another good reason to have a fence. Any other questions? All right. Have a good day. See Mr. Goodson.
Can't remember his dad's name, but I know Ty Parton's father. He runs a fencing company that can erect fences in less than a week. I know that for certain.
And this is a very small yard. Based on the video I saw, it wouldn't be hard to get it fenced with something. Mr. Goodson.
As far as the juke.
Yeah, it's not going to be hard to get. It's money though. The judge is just like, yeah, just spend this money that we don't know if you have or not to put a fence up. I mean, fences aren't cheap. Even the cheapest fence you could buy is going to cost you, what, $1,000? Maybe if you find a friend to put it up. I mean, at least to install them correctly, it is not cheap to put up a fence, even if it's a small yard. And that also begs the question: if it's that small of a yard, why does he have 5 dogs? Oh, he's breeding them, apparently, selling them, supplementing his income. So many questions on this case. So many questions. Only in Florida would we have a judge not be able to actually, you know what, to admit on the record, I can't do anything with this, and then he tells the defendant what to do. You just said you can't do anything. Like my hands are tied behind my back. I can't do anything. You know, you had a bench trial, but put a fence up. What are you going to do if I don't? You said he can't do anything. Only in Florida. Only in Florida. All right, real quick. I know I missed the super chat. We're done, by the way. That's it. That's it for tonight. No, maybe I didn't. Wait, I think I missed Cheshire Cats. No, she has to do your nails. Oh, no, I did read that one. Okay. No, I actually didn't miss one. I thought I did. All right. Well, yeah, like I said, that's it for the stream tonight. I do appreciate everyone hanging out. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for the super chats, gift and memberships, membership milestones. You all are awesome. Mods, as always, thank you so much for your hard work. You are also awesome. And like I say all the time, I need to think of another word that's not just awesome all the time. Even though awesome is kind of an awesome word. All right, let's see who we're going to rate. It is Wednesday, so I know we have Booze and Body Cam. I know I mentioned that earlier. We have, holy wow, there's like 7 people streaming right now. All right. We've got, well, I'm only going to mention 2 of the ones that I would possibly rate. We got Katie Zed, Lone Wolf, KFAR, Mike. And I don't know. This has to be somebody that I don't want to say the name because I don't want to be disrespectful, but I think they just changed their name and I don't know who it is. So I don't want to say it and be disrespectful because I didn't know they changed their name. But there's someone else streaming that I don't know what channel that is because I never knew I was subscribed to that channel name. So someone just changed it. It doesn't matter. Katie Zed, Lone Wolf, KFAR, Mike. I'm going to go look right now. I'm sure one of you said something. What's the first one? We got Mike, not Mike, Mike, not Mike. Okay, that's all I got. Mike, not Mike, Mike, not Mike, Mike, not Mike. Okay. Well, we're not going to raid Mike then. Phil said Lone Wolf. We'll go to Lone Wolf. All right. We're set up to go to Lone Wolf. Tell him I said hello, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is yoga night for Heather, so I stream a little earlier. It'll be at 7 instead of 8 Eastern. So, yeah. I'll see you then. Trying to think of anything else I have left to say. I think I nailed all the bases. I hit every single one. So, have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Till next time, bye.
Judge. I don't think there was any prior history or any substantial prior history. I'm going to withhold adjudication of guilt. I think I have to.
Yeah, in this situation.
I think I have to withhold.
You have no choice. But
I have to withhold adjudication.
No,
Thank you,
can
Mr.
never
Goodson.
be adjudicated for.
All right, so Mr. Williams, see Mr. Goodson with the probation office. I wish you the best, sir. Mr. Mitchell, anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McDaniel, anything else today?
Nothing else, Your Honor.
Thank you. It's 9:18. We're through with first appearance court. We're through with our pretrial docket. We're also through with